Hello everyone and welcome back to another wonderful video. Today I'm here in Ponytown to talk about 5 things you probably didn't know about Ponytown. So starting this list off at number 1, we're just going to jump right into it, by the way. No further intro is needed. We're going to jump right into it. Starting out at number 1, you can click on things that are hidden or covered up by players if you hold shift. Now this is obviously a PC exclusive kind of thing, but if there's a player there and you're trying to click on it, if you're trying to grab a lantern that someone's covering up, such as this player right here, I can't grab that lantern, or else I'll click on the player instead. Oh no, whatever will I do? Obviously I can come up here and press E and I will grab the thing that's behind them, but if I'm a little bit further away, or if it's something, I don't know, if I don't know exactly where the lantern is or something like that, if I want to just use this feature because I know about it, I can instead hold shift and then click on the lantern. I gotta get closer, obviously. Then click on the lantern and I'll grab it, even though previously, if I clicked in that exact same spot, it would click the player instead. So that's basically how you can kind of grab things that are behind players. So for example, if someone's covering up a Christmas present and you're trying to get that Christmas present before them, or they don't know it's there, or they're trying to hide it from you for whatever reason, you can obviously hold shift and press on them and then grab the present that's behind them. This is obviously something that is a little bit obscure and probably not something people are going to use that often, and something that I don't think people have used that often. I don't even know, because you can always just press E, or even just the interact action button to grab things that are behind players, but you can indeed hold shift to grab things that are behind players. Let's move on to the second thing. What is the second thing that you probably didn't know about Ponytown? Well, for that we must leave Ponytown. That's right, we must leave Ponytown and go over to the About page, grab this thing here and go all the way down. And then the second thing you didn't know about is right here on the About page, at the very bottom of the About page. It is also on the Help page, but essentially this little pony face down here at the bottom you can interact with. Simply just hover your mouse over it and it will freak out. It will get all aggressive. I don't think it likes boops. I don't think it likes to be booped. But there it is. You can interact with this little pony face down here. This is something that some of you probably do know, but a lot of you probably also don't know about it because of how long and how far it takes you just to get to this pony face in the first place. But suffice it to say, all you have to do is go there and then hover your mouse over it and it interacts. It does things. You can't click on it. It doesn't do anything beyond that. I would really love it if it had like new faces, or if they did a little bit more with it. Maybe it's some kind of secret button that you can actually click on and it will bring you to some kind of other thing. I don't know. But overall, I think that's a nice little thing just there by itself. It's almost like an Easter egg in a way, if you will. I don't know if that counts as an Easter egg, but it's really nice. It's a little hidden detail there on the About page, and of course on the Help page as well, if you scroll to the bottom of the Help page. In addition to this, I guess I'll go ahead and say it, if you scroll all the way to the bottom of the About page, the oldest changelog, I should say, is version 0.35.0, and it added flying and booping while flying, which I guess wasn't a thing. And then, of course, added flying above water. These are some interesting little changes there. I don't know if this updates or not. That would be a cool thing to kind of explore the next update, see if this goes away and then it's replaced with this version or something. I don't know. It would be kind of neat to find that out, but I don't know if that's the case. I feel like it is, but also I don't think it is at the same time. I don't know. But anyway, there you have it. You can interact with the little pony face down here, and that's pretty cool. So let's move on to the next thing. And now that we're back in the game on this frozen lake, we're going to ignore whatever the heck that is up there. And now that we're back in the game on this frozen lake in the most dangerous place, we're going to take a look at our settings, because the third thing you probably didn't know about is the fact that you can press this setting icon here, press settings, and then go to the bottom of your settings, where you can import or export your settings. That's right, you can export or import your settings. It's really funny because it's quite interesting, because it's something that I don't think anyone has ever used or probably ever will use, but it's something that can be somewhat useful if you're trying to experiment with your settings or whatever like that, and you don't want to completely lose all your settings, or like forget to revert one of your settings back or something like that. It's kind of interesting that you can just export or import them. I don't know what the original logic was in doing this, because not I don't think any game does that, like, anywhere. So it's kind of interesting that you can export and import your settings. Maybe that was something that was left behind during custom servers or something like that, and I just don't remember. But you can export and import your settings. I don't know why. I don't know if it works with, like, Ash's Town, if, like, you export your settings here and then port it over to Ash's Town or some other custom server. I doubt it does, but that's something fun for you to try, I guess. Or maybe you just want to export your settings now so you can kind of experiment with them and then import your settings back in and stuff like that. I don't know what you would want to use this feature for, but it's there. You can use it. You can import or export your things. All you gotta do is click these arrows, watch this, boom, I just pressed that button, it exported it, it turns into this little .json file, and then you can import it, and then it'll basically do just how like the actions do, and it will bring all of your actions back the way they were, and instead it's doing all of your settings like they were. So that's a little fun thing you can do. I don't know, like I said, I don't know what you would want to, when you would want to use this, but it's something you can use, I guess. I don't know. So let's move on to this next thing on the list. This next thing on the list, I guarantee there's no way any of you know this. There's no way. If any of you know this, you deserve a cookie. If any of you know this, you deserve a cookie. This next thing on the list is probably the number one thing you probably didn't know about Ponytown, and that is quite simply, you can swap characters without pressing this little swap icon up here. You don't have to press this button up here. You don't have to press this and then scroll and find your character. You don't have to do that. You literally don't have to do that. You can just do another thing. There's another way to do it. And you know that other way to do it? The other way to do it is quite simply with the command. So if I type in /swap and then type in the name of the character I want to swap to, the command will work and it will swap me to that character. Watch this. All I have to do is hit /swap and then type in Skelebanes, and then boom, my character swaps to Skelebanes without me having to press the swap button up there. It's an interesting command that is, I think, a little bit lost to time because I believe it was added before this little swap icon was added and things like that. I imagine that was the case. I don't know for sure it was or not. If it wasn't, I'm very confused on why this exists. But it's kind of nice, and I hope it never goes away. In case you're curious, I did test this. If you have two characters that have the exact same name, I don't know exactly what it's doing. I don't know if it's trying to get the one that's at the very top of the list before it goes to the one on the bottom of the list. But since I'm Skelebanes, if I try to swap to this other Skelebanes using the same command as before, /swap Skelebanes, and then type that in, it doesn't actually swap my character to the other Skelebanes. I don't know if that's a bug. I don't know if that's intended. I don't know what's going on with that, but it doesn't swap your character in that case. And we know it's not swapping the character because the other Skelebanes that I have, I just added a horn to because I figured that would be a really easy way to just discern which was which. So that's not what's happening. But if I want to swap to any character I want to, I can just type in their name. And it doesn't even have to be capitalized. As you can see here, I'm typing in Queen Skella. If I press that in, it will swap me to Queen Skella. It doesn't even have to be capitalized. That's kind of the coolest part of this little command here, is it doesn't have to be capitalized even though the name of the character is. I just think that's awesome and stuff. But anyway, that's that command, and it's really kind of fun. Now that I kind of am getting used to it, I might use it more often. Just because, I don't know, maybe I have some characters that are really far down on the list or something like that I want to swap to, and I don't want to spend time scrolling. Plus, there's been issues lately with the characters not loading for like a whole minute for some reason. I don't know why, but there's been issues where I just get this big loading thing right here, and they're not loading for like a whole like 10 seconds, and that's just annoying. Instead, I can just use the command, and that'll work out. But that's something that I guarantee you didn't know. Now let's move on to the last thing that you probably didn't know. And for that, again, we must leave Ponytown. We must leave Ponytown for this next thing. And that brings us to Patreon. That's right, Ponytown has a Patreon. I bet you didn't know that. No, I'm just kidding. That's not what it is. In fact, it's about the Patreon page itself and what it says, essentially. The description of the Ponytown Patreon thing, which I'm not sure a whole lot of people have read. Even the people that are Patreon supporters probably haven't fully read what is on here. And no, it's not some kind of benefit like, oh, you get extra, you know, experimental features, 30 minutes extra AFK timer, shiny gold tag, whatever else like that, extra house slots, whatever else. It's nothing like that. Instead, it's over here on the about thing. And it's what the game is supposed to be about that really interests me, and something that I don't think a lot of people know about. And I'm actually going to make a full video on this, talking about the ramifications of what this might mean and things like that in the future. But for now, let's take a look at this and see what it says. It quite simply says that they're inspired by games like Stardew Valley, Minecraft, and Factor.io. I don't know how to say it. Factorio? I don't know. Those are some 3 games that they're inspired by, and their ultimate goal is they're like focused on farming, crafting, and exploring the world. We don't have farming or crafting, so that just gets my mind excited and it goes crazy. My mind goes crazy over this. But that's kind of the main thing that I wanted to bring in here, right here at the end, is that the game is inspired and focused on things that you probably didn't realize they were inspired and focused on. Like, I don't even know what Factorio is. I don't even know what that is, but they're inspired by it, and that could mean anything. So that's the last thing you probably didn't know about Ponytown. And now let's go back to the actual game. So now that we're back in the actual game, that's right, I just alt-tabbed. I just switched tabs, that's all I did. But anyway, those are a handful of things that you probably didn't know about Ponytown, and I hope that you enjoyed them. I'm gonna grab some cookies off of this table now, because now that you know these things, you deserve a cookie. But anyway, that is gonna do it for the video. I do hope that you enjoyed. If you have anything that I probably didn't know about, let me know in the comments below, and I'll include it in a future video perhaps, or something, maybe, I don't know. Because honestly, it's really hard for me to kind of say what you guys might not know, since I kind of know so much about the game. It's hard for me to realize, like, oh, this is very obvious, this is very not obvious, such as the holding shift to click things that are behind players. That feels really obvious to me. That's something that I've always known ever since it existed, but I don't think people use it, and I don't think people know it. But I can't be sure if people know it, because I don't know what you guys know. Let me know in the comments below some things that you guys know that maybe people don't know, and maybe I'll include it in a future video. But for now, that's gonna do it for the video, and I do hope that you enjoyed. If you did, please do like, subscribe, share, and do all of those wonderful things like that, because when you do those wonderful things, you get access to wonderful content such as this. But not just this, and not just this, you also get to become wonderful yourself, and I think we all want that. So do those wonderful things, and until next time, stay wonderful.